take one more question. And I know there were a few hands up, but I'm sure you can interact one-on-one.
Actually, I had two.
Merge them into one.
But I've got the mic. You have no trouble convincing me that reduction in overall energy consumption, especially the carbon output from energy consumption, is a very high priority. And we've talked a lot about efficiency, and I'm very inclined to agree with you that that's going to be an area of major savings, and I appreciate the work you're doing on that. Two questions. One is for Steve. Given that energy is such a high priority, what priority is it as a saving in the master plan? Where does it rank among other priorities? And the question, and I mean it to be a bit of a hard question, is for OPPD and MUD. And I hear OPPD hoping to reduce carbon output by around 60% by 2060, and I hear MUD not planning to reduce carbon output at all because you have flat graphs there. And the goal that many people argue is necessary and may even be required nationally is 80% by 2050. How are you going to make up that difference? Do you have just going to hope for the best, or is there some idea you have about where else the savings would be? So the master plan, and what are you going to do about the reduction goal?
Well, I guess first on the master plan, I guess this is not good. First, with regard to the master plan, the whole purpose of doing this new environmental element master plan is because we realize what a big issue all of this is and how interrelated it is. And right now in our master plan, all of these issues are really scattered in various elements. There's no real focus to any of this. And so that's why in this master plan, environmental element of the master plan, we have broken out resource conservation in particular as one of the sections of the plan. But at the same time, we recognize that it flows through all of those sections. So as far as how important or how we would rank it, at this point, we're still pretty early in the plan. And so, obviously, it's important. That's why we're meeting today. That's why we're having this event today. And we would anticipate by the time we're done, we'll have a relative importance on all of the various pieces that we're looking at, and be able to place some, I guess, rank as to what we would pursue first.
Same question. Any estimate of how much carbon you can squeeze out by the master plan?
You know, at this point, I'd say no. That's, again, part of what we would hope to be able to do, and in particular, we hope as a part of the energy efficiency and conservation black grant funds, it's one of the things that we hope we'll be able to kind of drill into more so than we would without that help. Otherwise, we would probably stay at a fairly general level with some ideas about where to go, but we hope to be able to get a little more detail and really get down to some of those kinds of things. So at this point, it's a little early in the process. Obviously, it's important we wouldn't be here today.
Yes, in fairness to Dave, I'll take the first shot at your second question. I think all of us today, Stephen and David and myself, have talked about this journey that we have to take. And it's not simple. If it was easy, we would have done it yesterday. We have to balance between our economy. We all want to have good jobs. We all want to have food on our tables. We all want to have places for people to live and eat and enjoy life. So it is a journey. And can we meet 60 or 70 or 80% in the next 40, 50 years? Again, I went back to the very beginning. I said, we made it to the moon. It's likely we might be able to. I liked Marcella's opening comments about looking back. Today, it's very challenging with the technology that we have available to meet those kinds of standards and still be able to attain our economic balance for this country. So it is a challenge for us. Are we working on it? Absolutely. Did OPPD, as our company, step out and say, we're going after that? Absolutely. That's why we have a 10% renewable goal. That's why we have a 50 megawatt reduction in energy efficiency, is to move ahead of that and start to get ahead of the curve and figure out how to do this. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not a simple task. It's going to take a lot of work by everybody in this room, by everybody outside of this room, for us to achieve that. But we are working at it. Nobody's denying it, and we are working at it, and we're moving in that direction.
Yeah, in terms of the carbon footprint reduction at MUD, we're fundamentally a little different than OPPD. We're primarily a distributor of natural gas, and so to control emission sources for us, it's rarely similar to anyone else's business. It has to do with our own lights, our own buildings, and in our case, primarily our own vehicles. We've got a lot of engine loads that can fall back on the leadership of OPPD for how that carbon is squeezed out of it. But from our perspective, where we're really heading again to is fleet managements. We've got, I think, around 200 vehicles regularly on the road, and the numbers are about 400 for total managed transportation equipment. We continue to pursue CNG vehicles in that, and like my slide kind of indicated, we see about 2.6 million pounds of carbon dioxide that we know we've displaced over this last 10 years, and we hope to significantly increase that. Now, in terms of bridging that 80% number that I think you're referring to, I think in Mark's slide it was like 47%. I certainly can't begin to speak for OPPD, but I did read something from David Sokol from Mid-America that kind of said, if the federal government mandates it, they'll need it. And so if the federal government starts to mandate these things, then I think that's how that bridge will eventually be met in either a cap and trade or a cap kind of marketplace.